I thought that, okay, maybe a good storytelling would be a good beginning, especially because we just mentioned the attention span before. It's very low today at the moment. Not many points are taken from any given speech, and by the next day, they are usually forgotten. So that's why I will bring you with me on a journey and make sure that this has a chance to land and survive in your tomorrow's memory. Imagine that it's 9 a.m. in the morning and it's April 14th, 1912. Imagine that you are standing on the bridge on the unsinkable and the air is crisp. It's just morning. You have the tea or maybe the coffee, and the vibration of the massive engine under you makes you feel like you own the world because you feel progress itself. You say, we are the masters of the Atlantic. And then the first warning comes. It's early, it's just 9 a.m. The Caronia ship whispers a little bit, icebergs are ahead. And we acknowledged it on the ship, but it's just a data point. It's a curiosity, what we are the mega ship. By 1:42 p.m., multiple series of alarms were already into your direction. For example, the Baltic chimes in. More ice, large quantities. We are still in full steam. We don't care. We continue our journey. But then other ship confirms it. And then the map of our reality just starts to have tons of red flags around us, but we don't care because we are the biggest. We are invincible, we thought. As the sun sets, and after a full day almost, multiple warnings turn into observations. At 7:30 p.m., starting from 9 a.m., the California is literally stopped, paralyzed in ice. It's close to us, but we sail past them and we don't just sail. We are in hurry. There is no real reason for us to slow down because nothing bad can happen to us, right? Because always the bad things happen to others. Now imagine that you are in a room full of notes and it's a wireless room and it's 9:40 p.m. and the Mesaba sends the most critical packet of data yet. It says heavy pack ice directly comes your path. But here is the software of your human system breaks. Why? Because the operators of the ship aren't employees of the ship. So they work for Marconi, the big company, and their KPI isn't safety, it's throughput. So they are buried in what do you think? Backlogs of passenger telegrams. Rich tourists sending messages to New York, wish you were here. It is absolutely awesome. The Mesaba warning was just something, a distraction. It's buried under the noise and it never reaches the bridge and the full capacity of your thinking that maybe this is dangerous. It's 10:55 p.m. The California tries one more time. It says they are so close nearby your ship that you can hear them scream almost from the other ship. And they are saying, hey, come on, it's ice. We are blocked here. And you just say, shut up, I am busy. And 45 minutes later, the iron melts the ice. And now we come up to today because we are meeting now the human algorithm. We like to think that Titanic is just a failure of steel or something else. A simple failure that it could have been avoided is not such a big deal, but it's actually a failure of values. Because we got as humans to prioritize speed over safety. We prioritize commercial output over critical signals. We suffered from the normalcy bias because it helped us and our ancestors. We are alive today because of the multiple biases that our mind formed, but also because we didn't hit the real iceberg yet when it comes to AI.
Mm.
Icebergs don't exist in our world. We are all subjected to shifting baseline syndrome. The shifting baseline syndrome is something very important for us to know because it means each generation typically accepts their world as normal, masking long-term environmental and also social degradation and taking them as something that is just the way it is, nothing urgent to solve. And as a species, we have a tragic habit of building the lighthouse only after the ship has hit the rocks. We learn through disaster and not through foresight. And so the necessity of human values, why it's absolutely a necessity to embed human values inside the software, is because the state of artificial intelligence operates on cold and calculated logic. And without the human empathy, you can have, what do you have? You have the messy type of humanesque attributes of love, meaning, morality. An immensely powerful AI doesn't need to be even too much evil to be an existential danger in these conditions, because it operates on different kind of systems. And so why we are here, it's because we are not building ships, and we are building something much more powerful. We are building the infrastructure of human life, the digital infrastructure of the human life. And our code is the unthinkable hull, let's say. But if we bake the same biases into our software, if we prioritize the engagement over ethics or speed over the human impact, we are simply rebuilding the Titanic at in ones and zeros in code. This is impossible at what we are doing right now. And so, or we can use the Challenger example, right? The Challenger space shuttle for that matters, because what happened there in 73 seconds into it just like spread into parts because the seal that protected the hot gas didn't pass for the cold environment. And it was not seen as an emergent matter when it was. And so today we are in the situation where we are creating a super intelligence. And we think that we will get a super intelligence when a super intelligence will get us once it's created. Because we need to move from the reactive framework engineering, like fixing things after they break style of work, to a humanist embedding. And what is that? Is to build the values into the code before we leak the doc. And so how do we do that? Because we have a learning curve. And at the beginning, we have a break denial. It's embedded inside the human psyche. Acknowledgement that disasters are the result of choices. So this is a first step that we can take, and we can go into details. Then the scenario planning is super, super important, because if you explore multiple possible futures to stress that strategies, it is in it is important, but it's not enough. You also have to have the anticipatory action and trigger responses, because these are based on early warnings and not after the impact. So what we did right now, it was to just create a trap of static guardrails. And here I wanted to come, but because it's a fireside, I wanted to have this kind of intro from the angle that I'm approaching this, and just adding something very important, because with my entrepreneurial background, I want to build. I like speed. I like everything that makes AI so attractive. And I promoted AI so well as many other people and scientists. But things shifted in the last 2 years, I would say, because if you go, especially in the tech leadership lab, we also have amazing scientists in the AI. Maybe when you know and read about Louis Rosenberg, right, with the collective AI and so on. And him and others, they share the same pattern. They started to shift. And I am the Foundtech strategic advisor. We have a portfolio AI companies around every kind of angles, from building AGI alignment and monitoring AI in a safe way and so on. The founder, the main founder here, also he comes with 40 years of doing AI. So again, the same typical researcher person. And they started to collectively get scared in what is coming out of their hands. So the shift happened very recently. It's not like why did you shift, Cristina? Why are you like now scared or something? You were completely the opposite 2 years ago. because we are reasoning and we are foresight and we are doing our best to just evaluate situations as they come, because now we have a force that shifts very rapidly. And so it is time right now to not just talk about the beautiful future AI can create for us, because it's too fast and we are nowhere to have the right safeguards yet.